What's good, y'all, and welcome to my review for Sonic 3, man. Finally watched the movie. It just dropped on Paramount Plus not too long ago. We are finally here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, as you guys may remember, the way I was kind of weird because I actually kind of saw bits of this movie in theaters because I'm pretty sure I meant this in my Kraven the Hunter review because I believe this is when this happened. Yeah, it would have been Kraven the Hunter. That we got there a bit earlier than when my screening was, and they were and at the screening I was at, they were playing an earlier. They were still playing that screening of the film when I got there, about to get my seat. So instead, I literally just walked around the theater trying to find screenings that were playing Sonic 3 and just watched it there until my screen for Kraven started. So one of them, the first one I went to. It was basically literally like the end of the movie. So I saw the ending of the movie, and of course obviously the post-credit scenes as well, which was obviously talked about in the spoilers discussion of the video. But then so after that one went up, I still had some more time to kill. So I looked around and I found another screening that was actually the Dolby Cinema screening for Sonic 3, which you gotta say, hey, yo, man, I need to see a movie in one of those screens because, my God, dude, those chairs are really comfortable, man. Like, it definitely looks like it's a newer part of the building because it's got these nice seats, they recline and shit, man. The Dolby thing is obviously its gimmick is like, you know, sound and like the sound and like how the sound is really good in those ones because it's Dolby. But like the chairs are also really comfortable too, man. Like literally, I was like, God damn, this feels comfortable. It can like recline and everything, man. It was a very comfortable, which is around the beginning of the movie, like. I want to say 17 minutes in around is where it was. So it's like right around where they got to like the Chow Garden. It was like right around where it was like, it was like around the time they got to like the Chow Garden, if not a little bit before that, is when I got in there. So I watched the movie for that until Kraven the Hunter was like around the time Kraven started, then I moved back and then, waited for Kraven the Hunter and then, watched Kraven the Hunter. So I got to see parts of Sonic 3 in theaters, man, which satisfied me enough to be like, all right, now I can wait until the movie actually, comes on Paramount Plus so I can actually watch it. Anyway, the film itself, man, was fucking fantastic, man. Easily, obviously, as you guys could probably guess, my favorite of the trilogy, man. Which I think is a surprise of absolutely nobody, man. This movie's incredible, man. While I definitely do have my problems with this and how it adapts Sonic Adventure 2 in certain aspects, we'll talk about it when we get there, man. But overall, man, this was a phenomenal movie that I had a blast watching. Also, full disclosure for you guys, I want to mention real quick about what I just deem as spoilers, because obviously this adapts Sonic Adventure 2, and the people that are watching the review are already probably Sonic fans that have either already watched the movie, especially at this point, or they have at least played or know of the story of Sonic Adventure 2. So if it's in Sonic Adventure 2, I don't count it as a spoiler. So we're going to talk about certain aspects that maybe you would deem a spoiler for someone that doesn't know Sonic, but like since we're all Sonic fans here, any films in Sonic Adventure 2, we will talk about. So just want to give you guys that heads up there in case you haven't seen the movie at all and you don't know how Sonic Adventure 2, you guys don't want to get spoiled. So, leave now, and then we'll get into like the newer stuff, the ones that are actually spoilers to the movie that's newer, that's like original to the film, that we will save for the spoiler discussion. Anyway, so let's just jump into the movie. Is directed by Jeff Fowler and stars Jim Carrey, Keanu Reeves, Kristen Ritter. Shout out to Jessica Jones. It was a pleasant surprise to see her in the film as well, man. And you guys know me, I love Jessica Jones, so it's always a pleasure whenever I get to see Jessica Jones. Ben Schwartz, Alila Brown, I don't know how you pronounce that woman's first name, Idris Elba, and many more. And the plot of Sonic 3 is Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails reunite to battle Shadow, a mysterious and new enemy with powers unlike anything they've faced before. With their abilities outmatched in every way, they seek out an unlikely alliance to stop Shadow and to protect the planet. Now, the cast, man, is great, man. Obviously, Jim Carrey is incredible as both Dr. Robotnik, and of course, his grandfather, who you guys know creates the space station and everything, man. The Eclipse Cannon. Ben Schwartz, man, he's amazing. It's not like this might be a bit sacrilege, it might be of a hot take, but I honestly will say that I do think he is a better Sonic than Roger Craig Smith. I will say, if we're talking about like the LA actors that have played Sonic, which I don't know if I ever mentioned this in any of my previous videos or like live streaming. I think I might have mentioned this when I was streaming Sonic Frontiers, that I always thought he always felt a bit miscast as Sonic. Like I never quite got behind the voice that Roger Craig Smith used for Sonic. You guys know I love Roger Craig Smith. Roger Craig Smith from Shinji, Ezio, incredible voice actor, but I just never thought he fit Sonic. Now, Sonic Boom, that's another question because I feel like his voice fit a lot better because Sonic actually looked different. And in Frontiers as well, he sounded great from the bits of the game I actually played. He sounded fantastic there too. But everything before that, man, I just never really gelled with his voice, man. I feel like Ben Schwartz, while he's out there my favorite son, that honor goes to Jason Griffith. I still think his voice definitely fits Sonic way more than Rogers, at least originally, man, because I know they changed his voice up a bit for Frontiers. But anyway, so yeah, he's great, man. Idris is obviously entertaining as always as Knuckles, man. He is so fucking funny. I love Idris as Knuckles. Keanu Reeves was incredible as Shadow to the shock of nobody. Y'all remember, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in my Sonic 2 review, that I fucking called this shit, that it was going to be Keanu Reeves playing Shadow, and you guys know that I was clamoring and begging and you know, advocating for Jason Griffin to play it, man, because you guys know how much I love Jason Griffin, so you know he was who I was, you know, advocating for Shadow. But I kind of feel that I already knew from the start they would probably get Keanu to do it, man. Which, so yeah, but yeah, he's great, man, from the bits of the side that we get to see in the movie, man. Like I said, Jim Carrey's also probably the highlight of the movie, man. He's just so fucking funny in this movie, man. He is so purple as Dr. Robotnik and as his granddad as well. It's just fucking incredible, man. Anyway, so the animation, we gotta say, man, is great, especially the water effects, like when we see Shadow with the wet fur. Like Sonic 2, it looked really good as well, but I feel like it looked a bit better here in Sonic 3, which makes sense because, you know, this comes out later, technology advances and everything, but like, the water effects on it's like, when his fur was wet, man, looked really fucking good. Like I said, it looked very good in Sonic 2, but I would dare say it probably looked even better here in Sonic 3. I love the end credits that they do for like where like the CGI models or 3D models they use for the end credits. I like the look of them. They kind of felt reminiscent of Sonic 3D Blast art style and look, which I thought was nice touch for them to do the end credits with, man, because obviously they do a little still like video game thing for the end credits, man. And I really like the art style, the style they use for this one particular, which kind of like felt like it resembled a bit of Sonic 3D Blast. Like per usual, man, this movie's chock filled with Easter eggs for Sonic fans, like Team Sonic is obviously mentioned. That's a big one that mentioned a couple times in the film. Obviously, reference to Sonic Heroes, which I'm kind of hoping, given what we see in Sonic 4, or not Sonic 4, where we see the post-credits scene for Sonic 4, maybe we can get like a small Sonic Heroes adaptation in that one. Which I'll talk more on the sports network, which I'm kind of hoping for. But obviously we'll get a little bit more into that about what games they might adapt in 4 when we get spoiled, because I don't want to get too into it. But yeah, I like what they did there, man. The post-credit scenes themselves were obviously fantastic, man. Especially the mid-credit scene, which was a big one. So yeah, that was cool. Also, I gotta say, the fight between Sonic and Shadow right before they obviously go supersonic and, you know, take out the Eclipse Canyon fight off against its robots, man, was fucking hype. Like, that shit looked like some shit straight out of an anime, man. It was awesome, man. So then when they go into supersonic and they're fighting each other, man, it's awesome. It's hype. It is so hype, man. The comedy, once again, is really good in this movie, man. Like, they do a little fourth wall breaking joke about Jim Carrey playing both, you know, Eggman as well as Gerald, which I thought was a little bit funny, man. They have this whole dance number later on when they're like trying to get inside Guns and when they're starting to sneak into Guns HQ, man. That was pretty funny, man. But anyway, back to what I was saying with the Easter eggs before I got sidetracked. I mentioned before Team Sonic, that was a big one that they constantly mentioned, which we're kind of hoping that they do Sonic Heroes for the next movie, man, because that was a banger game as well. Shout out to all the Sonic Hero fans out there, man. Still got my copy of the game on the original Xbox. Eggman Land makes like a blink and you miss it cameo in there, man, if you're paying attention. The Chow Guard, which we saw in the trailers, which I thought was a nice, clever way of introducing the Chow Guard, which is like a big side, a big mode that a lot of people love. Some people like prefer that over the main game itself, the Chow Guard over Sonic Adventure 1, which I believe is also in Sonic Adventure 1 as well. Also makes a cameo when they make it in Japan, man. You got the Akira slide with Shadow, which I'm pretty sure was in the trailers. I think one of them you did see the Akira slide in there. They referenced the old, like, you know, cartridge tricks from like the 90s with the NES and Super Nintendo and Genesis, where they like blow into the cartridges, which I thought was kind of a little funny. Which actually, if you guys didn't know, fun fact, that actually doesn't do shit. In fact, that actually makes your consoles run. If anything, it makes your cartridges worse because the moisture getting on the boards, man, it can just fuck them up even more. So yeah, but I mean, it did work. To be fair, for a lot of people, blowing in the cartridge, getting the dust out, man, did the trick. But it actually did it. I believe I mentioned Eggman Land already, man. Shadow gets called the ultimate life form, which was kind of cool. Detective Pikachu was in the trailer. I believe that was another one that I mentioned that was pretty funny. Of course, Shadow with the gun and the bike bike. It's a whole sequence, man, which is pretty hype, man. Unfortunately, we don't actually get to see him using any firearms or swearing in this film, unfortunately. That would have been hype, not gonna lie. But it was pretty cool to see the bike, and we get to see him, do the slide, the Kara slide, and everything, man. I believe this was in the trailers as well, where we get to see Eggman in his classic outfit, typical outfit. It looked really good in the movie, I must say. And yeah, there's tons of other Easter eggs, like other Sonic levels or like movies, like Green Lantern gets a name drop in here as well, of course. Live and Learn, plays, which I'll talk about that in a second, man. We do get to see the Eclipse Cannon destroy the moon, although not in the same fashion as it did in the game, but it was pretty cool. But I was like, come on, give us the, destroy the moon, destroy the moon. I was kind of hoping we would get to see him destroy the moon. But yeah, there's tons of other Easter eggs in the movie, man. If you guys look hard enough, like I said, Eggman Land was like a blink and you miss it. Kind of like, it's literally off into the corner. Like I said, if you aren't paying attention, you will easily miss Eggman Land getting dropped. But it was pretty cool to see Eggman Land get dropped as well. I was kind of hoping we would get to see E102 Gamma when Shadow and Sonic are fighting near the end of the movie, bro. Supersonic charge towards the Eclipse Cannon, but unfortunately not, unless those robots are meant to be E102 Gamma. Maybe, we don't know. We'll have to wait and see when Sonic 4 drops. Like I said, that's assuming they do, direct or assume they do adapt Sonic Heroes as in the next movie. But I was kind of hoping we got to see E102 Gamma. I was also hoping that City Escape would get some love, but not really. I mean, you do see Sonic jumping out of a gun helicopter, which I guess you can count as a reference to City Escape, but like, we ain't got the song. We don't see Sonic getting chased by a truck. So is it really City Escape? I feel like unless you get the song or him getting chased by a car or snowboarding on the road, man, I feel like it's not really a true reference to City Escape. But yeah, tons of Easter egg, man, just like we saw in the first two films as well. They also do expand on Maria's lore in the movie. We do see a little bit more. They do expand on that a lot more than compared to what we saw in the game trailers for Sonic Adventure 2 as well as Shadow the Hedgehog, man. Although I will answer the question right now, no, Maria doesn't actually get shot in the movie, which I was a bit annoyed by. But she at the very least gets shot at. Now, to be fair, I probably get why they probably didn't go into it the same way the game did, because they wanted to keep the PG rating, and maybe having a little girl get shot probably would get this into a PG-13, man. And that's probably why all the guns in the movies that we see are always laser gun, not legit firearms, for probably that same reason as well. I don't know, I still would have liked to see, I was kind of hoping Mario still would get shot. I was kind of hoping for that, but oh well, man. But it is what it is. Like I said, it was done to probably keep the PG rating rather than having this movie get up to a PG-13 rating. The finale, of course, is fucking epic, man, with Sonic and Shadow when they have their team up both in supersonic form, man. It's fucking epic. And yeah, Christopher Reeve, like I said before, was really good in the movie when we see her, man. It was cool to see her. One of the funniest segments of the movie was, for me anyway, was definitely with when Eggman gets introduced. We see him all fat, and he's watching this this scene was hilarious for me, man. He's watching the Spanish soap opera, and he's just sitting there doing just watching this whole thing, and then he does this whole Congo thing on his belly, on his fat belly, man, and then where he has fucking a stone rips off his jacket, dude, when he needs new material to make it to where his suit actually fits him properly. He says, I don't got materials, rips off his shirt, just hands it to him there's your material. He's resourceful. And then the next scene you see him wearing nothing but his suit jacket and a tie. And then eventually finally found a shirt afterwards, man. That was pretty funny, man. Like I said, the comedy movie was really well done. Now, in terms of flaws in movie one, obviously the big one is obviously Maria doesn't get shot when I feel like she should have. Live and Learn, this is honestly an unforgivable sin, if you ask me. Live and Learn is completely mishandled. Yes, do we hear the song? Yes. Is it awesome? Yes. But Jesus Christ, did they just absolutely just drop the ball with how they use it? Because I was probably not the only person when we were hoping, is Live and Learn gonna make an appearance, man? The lead singer was making some posts, and I don't know if it ever got, I think it did get officially confirmed that a song would be in the movie. I don't remember specifically if it was or not, but either it was or there was a bunch of posts and people and the Live and Learn was teasing about that the song would be in the movie as well. But I'm sure I wasn't the only one that was expecting the song to just be blasting while Sonic and Shadow just fuck shit up. That is not the case, man. You hear a bit of the song with the original lyrics when they finally transform. You hear more of an orchestral version of the song while they're teaming up. That was pretty hype. That version of the song sounded amazing as well. Don't get it twisted, man. It was an amazing version of the song. And then that's it. Like, bro, if you got Live and Learn Play, you need to let that song fucking play. The whole song play, man. Blast your speakers up to max, man, and just rock out to the track, man, while Sonic and Shadow are just fucking shit like it was in the game, in Sonic Adventure 2. But that just doesn't happen. And I feel like that was completely mishandled how that song was used. Like, if you're gonna use Live and Learn, man, you better fucking play that entire song, man, while Sonic and Shadow are working together, man. I was also kind of hoping we get to see some Chaos Control in the movie, but we don't get to see any Chaos Control, unfortunately. Maybe in Sonic 4 we'll get to see some Chaos Control. But anyway, this might be me barking up the wrong tree, considering, these movies are marketed towards kids, but I wish this movie had a bit more of an edge to it. Like, Sonic Adventure 2 was easily at the time the most serious and I guess you could say darkest Sonic game ever released, man. It took itself definitely more seriously with its story, man. And I kind of wish Sonic 3 kept that energy. Now, you might say, like, I'm barking up the wrong tree with that one because, this movie's marketed towards kids, but, like, Sonic Adventure 2 was also marketed towards kids as well. Sonic has always been marketed towards kids, but, like, that game still had a bit of an edge to it, man. It went into some darker themes. Not to say this movie doesn't. It definitely is probably the darkest and most serious of the three movies, but it still kind of has that same tone and vibe of mostly being a comedy and more not as serious as I feel like this movie should be adapted when it should be when you're adapting Sonic Adventure 2. Like, I understand if you don't want to do Maria getting shot at, shot and killed by a gun agent, because you want to keep the PG rating, but I don't know, we were with something that was a little bit more serious, man, and kind of kept the tone of Sonic Adventure 2 a little bit more, but rather than the tone more or less being the same as we saw in the two previous films. I do wish this movie took itself a bit more seriously and had a bit of more edge to it, like Sonic Adventure 2 did. But that's probably me bark on the wrong tree. But that was something that was kind of a little bit disappointing. I wish the movie had a bit more edge to it and kind of took itself a bit more seriously than compared to what it ended up doing compared to the previous films. Anyway, guys, that's all I can talk before we get into the obvious spoilers discussion, man. So without further ado, man, I'll give you guys my final verdict and then we'll get into the spoiler discussion. So my final verdict for Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is going to be a 9.5 out of 10, guys. Like I said, now we're getting into spoilers, so you guys do not want to get spoiled, leave. Now, also, first of all, let's get off with the post credits and the mid credits scene. Where in the mid credits scene we see that we both see our first look at both Amy Rose as well as Metal Sonic. Metal Sonic looks like exactly like he does in the game, and he looks fantastic. Amy as well looks fantastic. Obviously, we needed a character as a voice. You guys know for Amy, I am going to be advocating for Lisa Ortiz. Would you guys know voiced her in the 4Kids, era of Sonic from the games and obviously Sonic X. She's great as Amy, man. I don't know who voices her in the LA dubs. I've kind of forgotten who voices her, and I haven't really heard much of her. But I honestly want her to play. I honestly don't have an actor in mind who I think could play her, man. I'm sure some of you guys do, but obviously I am pushing and advocating for Lisa Ortiz to voice Amy. Will it happen? Probably not. They'll probably get some other, I don't know, maybe they'll get fucking, what the hell is her name? Tiffany Grant? No, Tiffany Grant is Asuka. Tiffany something, who you guys know voices Tiffany in the Chucky series. What the hell was her name? I'm legit blanking on her. It was like Tiffany something. She unironically has an Oscar. What was her name again? Jennifer Tilly. That was who yes, Tiffany Valentine. Jennifer Tilly, man. They might have her play her or something. That's about the only person I can think of that can maybe play Amy. That's assuming that especially if they go in the stalkerish route, like how she is, but I've heard that that's really the only thing in Sonic X, and that's the American English dub version, while in the there's a Japanese version, another more recent Sonic Mia, they're actually more portrayed where she isn't stalking him, which, okay, fair enough. I don't really, you guys know, I'm a very casual Sonic fan. I do not keep up with the series like that, man. And I for damn sure don't read the comics, which I also have heard people say that they want Stone to be introduced in the comics and the games, which honestly, I would be down for. Stone's an entertaining character, man. I love Stone, man. He is such a blast, man. I love his dynamic with Eggman, man. That if they want to add him to the games, man, you will hear no complaints from me. He's fucking awesome. I think he's been one of the best additions that these movies have brought into the Sonic universe. And also, Sonic's parents as well. I think they've been pretty cool as well, man. So, but I would not be opposed to seeing Stone in the games. But anyway, as I was saying, man, they both look fantastic, man. And this does make me wonder if they're going to, now this does kind of give credence that we're going to see Sonic Heroes get adapted, because obviously Team Sonic gets mentioned in the post-credits scene. We see that Shadow is still alive, to the surprise of absolutely no one, when he pushes back the Eclipse cannon so that it doesn't destroy Earth from the blast of it, man. To the shock of absolutely nobody. I don't think anyone was shocked to see Shadow is still alive at the end of Sonic 3. But because we also see Metal Sonic in the movie, that does make a question: are they going to be adapting Sonic Heroes? Or are they going to be adapting Sonic CD? Or are they gonna try and adapt both games into this one movie, man? Because you guys know Sonic X, or not Sonic X, Metal Sonic is the main villain for Sonic Heroes as well. He has this massive, like 3-minute long fucking transformation sequence that John made a whole joke how you can make a sandwich in the time it takes for this transformation to finish. You know, which was pretty funny. Speaking of Johnny, man, Slicer's also making an appearance in the movie as well, which I'm sure triggered Johnny's PTSD. I haven't watched the Sonic 3 review yet, because, you know, it's spoiled heaven and I didn't watch the movie posted, so I'm going to watch it now whenever I get the chance. So I'm kind of hoping he does make a whole little skit out of the Slicers making a return in Sonic 3, because you guys remember in his old videos, man, he would always rant about Slicers. So, like, I'm sure that triggered his PTSD when he saw Eggman, like, turn into a Slicer. Which was pretty funny, man. So hopefully there's something about that in that video, but I'll see when I actually go out, when I finally watch it. But yeah, that was pretty cool to see Slicers in the movie. I will say, and this kind of goes to the movie feeling a bit anticlimactic in points and not having the same edge, because like Gerald's death is kind of just happens, man, where Shadow just pushes him into like the like electrical area where Shadow had powered up the Eclipse guy. He like just tossed him in there and he just dies. No, like, you don't see his like body get electrocuted, his body melts, some screams of his final death before he blows up or something. Literally nothing, man. There's also this other commander from Gun that kind of just dies, and it just also feels kind of a bit anticlimactic as well. I don't even remember the dude was even in Sonic 2. So yeah, that was another thing I said. I wish this movie did have a bit more edge to it and kind of kept the tone a bit more of Sonic Adventure 2 for Sonic 3, but yeah, that's just me. But yeah, so that was pretty cool as well. But there is a moment where they do kind of keep that, where Sonic does get angrier when Shadow almost kills Tom. He almost kills him, man, or at least it looks like he killed him. And Sonic does actually get angry. He's asking Shadow where the Master Emerald is so he can turn Super Sonic and get revenge on Shadow, man. That's probably the darkest that will probably the movie went, man. But I wish they went a bit further and kept in the tone of Sonic Adventure 2. But that was a pretty cool sequence to see Sonic actually get angry. You know, he's seeking revenge, man, and he's like going off against Shadow, man. That was a pretty hype sequence. Maria, like I mentioned before in the start in my spoiler-free part of the review, they did expand a lot more on it compared to what we saw in Sonic Adventure 2 as well as Shadow the Hedgehog, where we see Maria and Shadow actually bonding, them kind of having fun together, man. Or rather, Maria tells Shadow about the stars. Now, like by the time he reaches Earth, you know, it could already be gone. That was pretty cool to see. You also get to see her like hooking a rope over on Shadow, and her like basically just like her while she's on her rollerblades, kind of like him like riding from him or whatever. I'm not exactly sure how you would just describe where he's like pulling her around, driving her around while she's on her roller skates. That leads to them, you know, running into like a food tray thing where they then start doing snow angels on the fallen food. I do like that sequence, man. I like the song they paired with it as well. I thought that sequence is really well done. Like I said, I wish she actually got shot at. You know, she was actually shot, whether it was by a legitimate weapon or these energy rifles that they have in this movies. But I don't like the idea of like them shooting at her, where instead the bullet ricochets into like some flammable canisters and the thing blows up, and that's what kills her, man. We don't even get to see her die. By the time we come back to it, she's already dead. You know, and I was like, I wish we got a little bit more, man. You know, like I said, I wish this movie took itself a bit more seriously and kept a little bit more of the tone of Sonic Adventure. But like I said, that was probably, I'm probably barking up the wrong horse with this, with asking that from this movie, man, probably. But, you know, that's my opinion, man. I do like how they actually do incorporate blowing up the moon, where you guys remember in Sonic Adventure 2, Gerald Robotnik blew up the moon to show the power of the Eclipse cannon by blowing half of it off. This time, it's them trying to, like, maneuver the cannon away from Earth to maneuver it for the blast so it doesn't actually kill everyone. And while they're moving around, it does strike the moon and then, like, kind of like slices it in half a little bit, man. And Eggman's like, how dare you? Or, like, how could you? Or something like that, which is pretty funny. But I was happy to see the moon still got blown up anyway. And I do like the way that we do see when Amy makes her return or makes her appearance in the mid-credit scene. I do like how you can see the like cut off, broken off moon in the background, man, when Amy's like flying in the air taking out the Metal Sonic clones. I thought that sequence was really, I thought that shot when she's like right in front of the moon, man, looked really fucking high, man. Yeah, I think that's about everything I can think of to tell about Sonic 3. I'm sure I'm probably missing something. I'm probably missing some major things. Oh yeah, Eggman does sacrifice himself at the end of the movie, Whether or not this does mean that Eggman is truly dead and this is the end of Jim Carrey's tenure with the Sonic movies, or this is going to be another fake out. We'll see him in Sonic 4 teaming up with Metal Sonic at the end of the movie, man. We'll have to wait and see on that. And like I said, I don't know, like with Amy and Metal Sonic both in the game, they could go either way if they are going to adapt Sonic Heroes, because Metal Sonic was the villain in that one, and we get to see Team Sonic, Team Dark, Team Amy, hell, Team Chaotix. So let's get them in there while we're at it. Why not? Or we can see them just adapt Sonic X, or not Sonic X, Sonic CD, because you know Amy, that was when Amy got introduced in the games, wasn't Sonic CD, and that's when Metal Sonic was introduced as well. So they could do it that direction anyway, and we get the time travel thing and everything. Or they could adapt both, and maybe we'll get the time travel, we'll get like the whole dystopian future, man, Amy's introduction, all that from Sonic X CD. Well, we also get to see the different teams and fighting off against Super Metal Sonic or whatever that form was called at the end of Sonic Heroes. I personally would like to see Sonic Heroes. Like, I would either go for either adapt both or just adapt Sonic Heroes, because I like Sonic Heroes, man. Sonic Heroes is an awesome game, man. Love that song, Sonic Heroes. I have a lot of fun playing that game, man. So if I had to pick, I would lean more towards either just adapting Sonic Heroes or adapt both games. But we'll have to wait and see which direction they end up going for Sonic 4 whenever that comes out and they start filming it. Anyway, guys, that's everything I got for you guys. I can think about top of my head. Like I'm sure I'm probably missing something from the movie to talk about, man, but I think I got everything I want to talk about. Anyway, guys, hope you guys made the video. You like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me if you feel like it. Link to subscribe box below. And it's always come back for more. See you guys next time.